With more than 6 million people either behind bars or on probation and parole, the United States criminal justice system is one of the largest in the world. Reform Alliance, a nonprofit co-founded by artists Meek Mills, Jay-Z, and a few others, has been working to change some of the laws, policies, and practices that may help enable perceived injustices within the system. The Alliance has also shifted leadership. The company's founding CEO, Van Jones, has been elevated to the executive board, and Robert Rooks has been tapped as the new CEO. And Rooks joins us now from Sacramento with more on their efforts to reform the criminal justice system. Good to see you, Robert.
Good to be here.
So explain what the Reform Alliance is and what people can expect under your leadership.
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. Reform Alliance is a national organization seeking to safely reduce the number of people on probation and parole and create real pathways to work and wellness for people who have been supervised as opposed to supported. Reform Alliance was started, as you mentioned at the beginning, with the unjust incarceration of artist Meek Mill. The 2 to 4 year sentence he received shocked the world and gave birth to this organization. So a titan of board members came together and said that they wanted to make generational impact and change, and that's how the Reform Alliance was born.
You have a long history of working within the criminal justice areas with people who are victims of crimes. And, you know, a lot of people hear this sort of stuff and they go, oh, well, you know, you break the law, there's are consequences.
Yes.
But I think what they don't realize is that this the criminal justice system has sort of expanded into the criminal justice industry for many states, many municipalities. There are fines that have nothing to do with criminal justice. There are all sorts of ways in which many people are making money that keep individuals sort of connected to the system. So when I'm going to ask you, when you talk about reform, I'm assuming that that's part of what you're talking about.
Absolutely. When we talk about Reform Alliance, it's important to know that there are the 2.1 million or so people incarcerated, but yet there are 4.5 million people on the probation and parole. And we're talking about people that are facing tremendous barriers of work, of housing, of education because of this conviction. Millions of families are trapped in this restrictive, unjust, and frankly, unsafe cycle. 50% of people on probation and parole end up going back, not because of a new crime, but because of a technical violation. And we believe that the system is broken. Far too many people are caught in this probation trap. And we want to work with states. We want to work with states to help build better pathways for people and create real opportunity and grow state economies. Because we believe that people coming out of prison and jail are best positioned to take on jobs to help get this economy back going.
So what are your expectations then from the Biden administration going forward?
We're excited to work with the Biden administration. And frankly, we will work with anyone who wants to address this important and critical problem of probation and parole. We look forward to passing laws at the federal and state levels. In fact, we can pass laws at the federal levels that can incentivize good practices, good behaviors at the state level. We want to build out real support for people and get them back to pathways where they can provide for their families, for their loved ones, and feel part of our community again. That's the hope. The hope is connection and public safety, and look forward to working with the administration to provide that for people.
You know, one of the things that we've seen as we've been covering the pandemic, Vlad and I, is that COVID-19 has kind of exacerbated any weaknesses in the systems, whether it's the healthcare system, the education system, obviously your area is the criminal justice system. I've heard you say that COVID-19 is exploiting the racial fault lines in this country. How has this pandemic made things more challenging for individuals who are incarcerated or formerly incarcerated? And do you think that, because all the talk is about the vaccines now, are inmates being considered a vulnerable population the way they should be when we know that, you know, the rates are skyrocketing in prisons?
Well, unfortunately, it's a debate that shouldn't happen, because we should be clear that people that are incarcerated should be getting the vaccine. So it shouldn't be a debate. Unfortunately, it is. The case rate of people inside of prison and jails are 4 times the national average. The death rate is twice the general population, and 40% of people incarcerated have a chronic illness which impacts their ability to survive from COVID. So it's a horrifying tale when you think about what people are in prison and jail are going through. I have a nephew in Virginia and have received calls and emails from him about him having a cellmate with COVID and not having the support that he needs. And so this is an important issue to be talking about. We need to absolutely move people in prison and jail higher up on the ladder so they can get the vaccine and be healthy and safe. Thank you for asking that question.
And I also want to ask you about this campaign that the Reform Alliance is working on to show the world the impact that the probation and parole system takes on people. What can you tell us about the campaign, and just explain to folks who might not be aware of the toll that this system has on individuals?
No, absolutely. We hope to win hearts and minds on this issue. We also plan to win legislative change. We're going state by state to pass laws that will impact the lives of people on probation and parole positively. We also plan to tell an important story. Meek's story was an important story for people to learn about. Many did not understand the role probation and parole plays in the lives of people, how someone can basically be revoked, not commit a new crime, but just not show up for a meeting or be late for an appointment with a probation officer, miss curfew, and result back in prison doing longer time. 2 to 4 years Meek received. So state by state, we're going to work with states to change these laws, to make real pathways for people on probation and parole. It is our hope that we can get 1 million people off of probation and parole in this country and create real pathways to work and wellness.
Robert, before we let you go, like I pointed out, there are going to be people out there that are going to say, listen, if you break the law, there are consequences. What I found sort of interesting about your own journey is you do a lot of speaking with and listening to the voices of crime victims. What is their take on reform? Do you find that crime victims are in favor of tougher sentences, or maybe there's another story there?
Thank you. At my current job, I'm the co-founder of Alliance for Safety and Justice, a national organization that works with crime survivors, elevate their voices for change. And at the Alliance, when we started off, we sat down and talked with crime victims about what they wanted to see out of the justice system. They basically wanted 3 things. One, they wanted what happened to them not to happen to them again. They wanted what happened to them not to happen to anyone else. And they wanted real investments in community to stop the cycle of crime. That's all crime victims want. They didn't say lock people up and throw away the key. They didn't say that. They wanted that what happened to them not to happen to anyone else. And so we built out a strategy and effort to begin doing that. And Reform Alliance, my work in Reform Alliance, is all about making investments to address the root causes of crime. We need to address why people are getting caught in the system in the first place. And by and large, it's an issue of wellness and an issue of not having work opportunities. And so we're going to be building that up for people state by state and across the country, and excited to work with the board of Reform Alliance to build on the legacy that Van Jones has created by taking this organization from upstart to strong and thriving, and we're just going to continue to build on it.
Well, it is good work, and it's not just about the criminal justice system, as you point out. It's about building strong communities so people have options. And so I wish you the best of luck, Robert Rooks. Thank you.
Well, thank you so very much, and thank you for having me on to talk about this very important issue.